Hi and welcome to another Huddle Breakdown Extra Time. I'm your host Martin Murphy and joined as ever by James and by Alan. But come to you immediately, James. So some changes to the platform, I think some pretty exciting ones, if you'd maybe like to tell viewers and our subscribers about that.
The circle has come around and complete. So when we started this with Enda, when was that, Alan? 2020?
4 years ago? 5 years ago nearly.
It'll be 5 years in November. We started on a platform called StreamYard, and then because of some technological connection issues, we moved to a platform called Zencastr. And that platform has been a pain in the ass recently. So we've been content up until, I'd say, about a month ago. And we've had a variety of issues, which some of our subscribers pointed out to us. Thanks. Bringing to our attention some audio synchronization issues, that kind of thing. So we're coming back to StreamYard to at least attempt it, to beta test it here. We're going to do a live test here today. Along with that, we might be bringing back some live broadcasts because this platform enables that. Zencastr's did not. We had to do kind of a risk reward benefits cost benefit analysis on what Zencastr had allowed us to do. So StreamYard's basically added some of the stuff that the reason we went to Zencastr since we left. The other big thing is that we'll be able to do some more dynamic things, intra-broadcast, use some visuals, maybe incorporate some video. So we're going to start experimenting with that. Most importantly, today, please have some grace because it's my job to try and navigate this crap. And I have no idea what the hell I'm doing with this first time. So if you hear a lot of swear words and I don't mute my button when I'm cursing in the background, forgive me in advance.
And I think just interpreting what James was saying there, if any of us come across really badly or unprofessionally, it's really down to James and whoever is operating this new platform. So I'm sure Alan would agree with me there. But thanks, James. But in all honesty, it is a wee bit experimental today, but I think, really exciting opportunities for our subscribers there. And I think it will just be far better and even more value for money, I'm sure.
And this is not anything that we've discovered, right? So Axum, I think, use it. Seltzer here, Quinny. Like this is the premier platform for doing this kind of stuff, which was why Enda had us with it. And so they've basically filled any kind of holes that we had that were giving us some issues before. So it's good to be back, but got to re-stretch the legs a little bit and navigating all of the new stuff.
Absolutely. And Alan, I've been looking at some of the content that you guys have put on for subscribers, and again, an awful lot going on at the moment, as we talked about previously. At this time of year, I think we're all desperate for a bit of Celtic news and some really interesting articles. None more so, by the way, I thought, than the episode that you put up with Jonathan Wilson. Absolutely fascinating stuff. So I don't know if you maybe want to mention that for anyone who hasn't seen it and maybe mention some of the other things that yourself and James have added.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully we've been, true to our word that when the season finished, we kind of got going a little bit because, data collection and studying the matches and what have you takes up a lot of time. When there's no matches going on, you can actually, do more writing and stuff. So it actually allows us to produce a bit more stuff, which is good. So hopefully people have been enjoying that. There's been a lot of content almost on a daily basis, something new coming out. So hopefully people are enjoying that. We were very fortunate, thanks to Andy, our producer, for getting Jonathan Wilson to come on. He's my favourite football writer and journalist.
You embarrassed yourself, Alan. You really embarrassed yourself.
I thought it was really cute. I thought it was really cute, James.
I know I didn't let it come through. Professionalism won out and all that, of course. But no, Jonathan was a delight. He was very generous with his time. We had to end, sadly, because I had to bloody be somewhere else. We had to end it. I think he'd have talked for hours, actually, which would have been brilliant.
Is it another Subbuteo competition, Alan? Or
No, nothing like that. Yeah. So hopefully we might get him on again. But he's great, and he talked a bit about the historical context of why the Lisbon Lions weren't not just important to Celtic fans, but actually were important to to the development of football tactics as well. So he had some quite funny stories about being in Seville as well. So if you've not caught it, please do. Jonathan's great. He loves nothing more than just talking about football, and he was happy to talk about Celtic related stuff. So that's great. So for my part, I've probably got one more end of season review article to do. I'm going to focus on Brendan Rodgers for that one, and how's the boss performing? So I'm going to do his report card, and there will be a few other bits and bobs that I've got to do. So I'm going to do something on, because I've always done one on the injury profile. I've always done one on like corners, because people get really fixated about corners and set pieces. So I always do one on that. So there'll be a few other bits and bobs that I've got to fit in. My pressing, well, the reason I've been churning these out is because I will be away for 3 weeks over summer, going to Australia, a big trip. I'm not taking my laptop. It's family time. So James will be holding the fort, and Martin and Laura as well while I'm away. So I've been trying to make sure I've got lots of stuff out there to so I don't feel too guilty about leaving you all, obviously. So yeah, there's loads of things. James has been carrying on with his benchmarking reports. They will no doubt continue to churn through, and I know they're very popular with everyone as well. So there's loads of stuff happening. So please keep with us. There'll be other specials that we do. We've got one more in the can, which we'll get to you over the summer as well.
Yeah, thanks ever so much. And if I could just echo what Alan was saying there, just about that quality, the interview with Jonathan Wilson, I really enjoyed. His knowledge is second to none, really. I think in terms of tactics and football history, really. And I enjoyed the context of where Internazionale, Inter Milan were as a side there. I was wondering how far down the Liverpool road he was going to go, because I remember Bill Shankly always had a hatred for them because of the 1965 semi-final when they really did get robbed. There was a lot of corruption and so forth. So a lot of great stories there, and also, as you've mentioned, about Seville and about tactics and development of that. And just with the Lisbon Lions, as you mentioned, obviously the tremendously sad death of John Clark there. So we'll be paying tribute to Luggy or The Brush, either of those nicknames I'm sure he's well known as, and just tremendous deepest sympathy to all his family and loved ones, and another legend lost, but somebody else who'll always, of course, live in the hearts of every Celtic fan, every football fan, really. So we'll be paying tribute to John later near the end of this show. Other things that we'll be looking at as well today, really, we'll be continuing from last week's episode. As we said, we wanted to make sure that we gave due time for this KT butterfly effect and get into that a little bit. We'll also be looking at up-to-date news, really, in terms of transfer activity. Sadly for Laura, not as much as we would have hoped over the line. Sorry, Laura, hopefully by the time you're back, we do have a few more actually nailed down there. And we'll be looking at other Scottish football developments that have come up as well, really. So I think if we could maybe start off really with this KT butterfly effect, if I come to you, first of all, James, with that, I suppose we were kind of leading into it where very different fullback from, Greg Taylor, the way that we play must really change because of that play to KT's strengths and how that impacts on the rest of the team. So what's your own thoughts there?
Well, the interesting part of this is that we have some history to review because it's obviously he had a material tenure with the same manager for, what was it, the 16-17 season, 17-18, and then his injury-riddled kind of partial 18-19 season. So to beta test this new visualization that we can do, I'm going to bring up one of the graphics that I build in something called Data Wrapper, which is what I use to create everything on the website. And so what I did here was go back and some caveats here. So what you're looking at are pie charts from teams that Brendan Rodgers managed over the last 9 seasons. It includes multiple seasons at Leicester City. And the reason why I wanted to show it is that the last 2 seasons under his tenure at Celtic have been kind of unusual relative to the prior 7 seasons. And it's kind of color coded. What I've done at the top is I have it down to 4-2-3-1, 4-3-3, throw in for all the old school people that love their 4-4-2 with 2 up top. I got that in black there. And then I bundle together.
We hope you enjoyed this free preview from all of us here at the Huddle Breakdown. We know you have options and we really appreciate you tuning in. To hear the rest of this episode and for much more Huddle Breakdown content, head on over to www.huddlebreakdown.com. We hope you consider subscribing. Thank you.